Something's off lately. I know you feel it too. The endless scroll, the constant performing, the suffocating weight of a world that demands we consume more, share more, be more. This trip to Athens really drove it home for me. I came here to research ancient witches for my fantasy novel, but I ended up confronting something entirely different. I don't know, I just feel like we have overdone it. How the hell did we get so far from what actually makes us happy? So, let's start at the beginning. The stories that drew me here were about women who refused to play by society's rules. Hecate, the goddess of crossroads and magic. Circe, who lived among lions and wolves on a remote island. These legends represented women who chose to live differently, who understood the power of nature and chose the wild over civilization. But as I've been walking through Athens over the past days, surrounded by crowds of people all performing their lives for Instagram, myself included, I realized something. I'm not just researching these ancient wise women for my books. I'm looking for them because we need them now more than ever. And I mean, I really shouldn't have been surprised by this feeling of city overwhelm. You see, I've escaped it before. 10 years ago, I left Berlin to train as a safari guide in southern Africa. Eventually, after meeting my Aussie husband, I moved to a remote cabin in Western Australia, where I now write fantasy novels surrounded by nothing but eucalyptus trees and bird calls. But I guess sometimes you have to return to where you started to understand just how much you've changed. At first, though, I tried to play the part. Good morning from Athens. Let's check out these famous ruins that are here. What are they called again? But being back in a major city, even just for research, has been like looking in a mirror at who I used to be. And honestly, it's been overwhelming. I'm not really having the experience I thought I was gonna have in Athens, and I feel really weird about it. I was looking forward to more of the solo travel vibes, just sitting in cafes, watching people, and I'm very overwhelmed. I'm very sensitive to like noise and smells and stuff, and so I go out with my noise cancelling headphones, and I'm just walking the streets and observing humanity, so to speak, how odd it all is. The faster the city moves, the slower I move. And very often I would stop at a street corner and just look at everything around me, because it is quite overwhelming. And I think I hadn't realized just how much I have changed. Maybe you don't realize how much you've changed until you visit a place again. And I mean, I have never been to Athens, but what I mean, it can also be a place within yourself, like the kind of things you used to do, the kind of things you used to enjoy. And me traveling, getting lost in a big city, that was the definition of me when I was 24, 25. I am no longer enjoying this, and this is not even a critique on Athens. I think if you're into culture and history and nightlife and cafes, there's so much here. Although I will say that Athens is a lot more gritty and a lot more rough than I thought. Like, there's a lot of graffiti, it's very loud, it's not sort of the cute European city that you might imagine. And so it is a research trip, and I enjoy having these thoughts, how absurd it all is, how our consumerism has just gone out of hand. And that's another thing you notice. When I was traveling Europe 10 years ago, it wasn't like this. Like, you didn't have all of these cafes that are literally designed for Instagram fame. They have these huge flower bouquets everywhere, or like butterflies. Or today I saw this weird Disney themed cafe. It's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary to spend money on all that. Or like, there's so many people queuing at these Instagram famous places, and like, if you just go around the corner, you get the same product for probably half the price. And I'm not saying that culinary delights are not great and cafes are not great. Like my mom has a background in hospitality, so she values like good food and good hotels and good restaurants so much, and there really is an art to it. It's also such a huge part of a country's culture. So I'm not saying there's no point in all of that, but I also can't ignore what's happening all across Europe right now.
The most visited museum in the world failing to open due to a spontaneous strike by the Louvre staff, warning that the home of the Mona Lisa is buckling under the weight of mass tourism.
When every apartment becomes an Airbnb instead of housing for locals, we've created a system that treats places like products to consume rather than communities to respect. It really hit me in ancient Greece, of all places. I don't know, I just feel like we have overdone it. We've turned travel into nothing but content creation. And we've created a world where appearance matters more than experience. So here's the question that I couldn't get out of my head this entire trip. Are we there yet? We keep moving faster, consuming more experiences, collecting more content, visiting more places, but are we actually getting anywhere? Or are we just running in circles, mistaking motion for progress? Because looking around at this endless cycle of consumption, performance, and exhaustion, I just don't believe this is the destination we were aiming for. I often think about that famous Dear Alice yogurt ad, you know, the one with the grandmother writing to her granddaughter about leaving behind a better world. It perfectly captures what's called solar punk, a vision where technology and nature work together, where cities have green roofs and solar panels, where food is shared rather than commodified. It shows us a world where anyone would actually want to live in, not just survive in. You know, my guide at the Acropolis taught me about an ancient Greek concept called eudaimonia. I'm sure I'm saying this wrong. She said that it's often translated as happiness, but really it means human flourishing. Not the fleeting high of a perfect Instagram post, but the deep satisfaction of a life well lived. And standing there among those ancient stones, I realized I don't think that's what we're building right now. So maybe the question shouldn't be, are we there yet? But rather, are we even on the right path? Which brings me back to those ancient Greek witches I came here to research. They chose to live on the margins because they knew that's where real freedom lives. Away from the demands of empire, away from the pressure to perform, away from the endless consumption, they represent something we've lost. The idea that there's another way to live. I just had the loveliest unexpected dinner just off the Acropolis. There was this tiny hole in the wall. Had a little chat with the guy, how he makes his vegan tzatziki, and yeah, great little place. I think I miss cooking at this point. I find myself asking for recipes, looking stuff up on Pinterest. Might be a bit homesick at this point. It's winter now in Western Australia. It's getting towards campfire and hiking season. And I really want to cook more on the open fire this year. So you can join me back home next week from my cozy cabin in Western Australia. So this research trip has become something else entirely for me. It's really put into perspective what I want my life to be, and in consequence, what you'll see here on this channel going forward. I want to explore what it means to reconnect with nature, to learn from the wild, to rediscover the wisdom our great-great-great-grandmothers knew before we've forgotten. I want to live like the witches in my novel, rooted in the earth, not floating on a digital cloud. It's going to be hard because to share my work, I need to show up online in some shape or form. But maybe that's where the real magic happens. Finding ways to be genuinely authentic in spaces designed for performance. To use these platforms as tools for connection rather than consumption. To share the messy, the real process of building a life, not just the highlight reel. We can't continue like this, but we don't have to. Every day we choose. Consume or create, perform or connect, extract or nurture. Let's choose the path that leads home. To real community, real sustainability. Real life. Are we there yet? Maybe not. But we can start walking in the right direction.